Hi, thanks for coming to the Banquet Network website. I want to talk to you a little bit about the Banquet Network. The Banquet Network is a group of churches that have decided that they want to make a difference with one of the largest unreached people groups in the world. People who are affected with special needs and disabilities. And we've come together to inspire and to equip and to resource one another. And we couldn't be more excited to be doing this.
So when I was very young, I felt called to be a missionary to an unreached people group, and I did everything I could to make that dream happen. But when I was 21 years old, I had an autoimmune disease that left me with significant vision loss and totally derailed my plans and hopes of living in a remote part of the world and sharing the gospel with people in unreached people groups. People with disabilities are actually the largest unreached people group in the world. Less than 5% of people with disabilities worldwide will ever hear the gospel in an effective manner. And this is a major tragedy. Not only is it a tragedy because these precious people who may be different than us in some way are excluded from hearing about the hope of God's love and of the restoration that we have in God, both spiritually and one day physically. When churches don't have people with disabilities in them, I believe that the church itself is disabled. 1 Corinthians 12:22 says that the parts of the body that seem to be weaker are actually indispensable. And we believe that people with disabilities, though they may seem to be weaker by the world's standards, have so much to offer us as the church and to teach us as the church. And so through the Banquet Network, we hope that we can both encourage and equip churches to reach out and include people with disabilities and invite them to the table, to the banquet of the gospel. But we also hope that these will strengthen our churches because they are able to learn and grow through their interaction with people with disabilities.
Hello, I'm Tommy Rowe, and I feel called of God to start a special needs church. It's going to be called The Gathering Place, and it will be in Bowie, Maryland. And first of all, the reason that I'm doing that is because God's leading me. He's been doing a work in my life and calling me towards something, preparing me for something. And through my contact with this church at Bowie, Crest Hill Baptist, and what's happening with the Convention of Maryland and Delaware and with the Banquet Network, God's really been up to some really cool things, all about trying to reach a people group of people connected to special needs and disabilities. And so part of what's happening with me is I'm developing the heart of God to reach people who struggle with these things. I personally have connection to that with a child who's in the spectrum of autism, who's an adult, and been around the issues of special needs, especially in the autism spectrum of things. And so just moving toward what God has for me to start the church, to reach out and share the gospel truth to people who have these things in their lives.
I had a dream once, and the dream was that our churches would look more like real churches, which means the people in our communities, all different types of people, they'd actually be in our churches, and we'd actually be finding ways to serve them and love them and teach them about Jesus. And I think that dream has come true in the Banquet Network. So I want to encourage you to check us out.